The Mazda CX-5 is a strong contender in the crossover segment. The last 4 days and 1,400 miles, I've been living with this 2025 CX-5. When you test drive a vehicle, you only get so much. But what's it like to live with this? I'll tell you right now. Hey everyone, welcome to Driven by Jace. We have the Mazda CX-5 2025 version. This is the last year for this model. This first debuted in 2017. And this past week I had the 2.5S preferred version. These do come all standard with all-wheel drive. And this does have the standard 187 horsepower engine. You can get the more powerful turbo version, but this is the standard one. So as you can see when you turn the CX-5 on, one of the most annoying features of this car is once you start it, it will start beeping. Even though you haven't put it into drive yet, it beeps and beeps and beeps for your seatbelt. So that's one of my most annoying features about this car is the seatbelt function. So how does the CX-5 drive? For me, driving the last 4 days, this car felt more like a sedan than it did a SUV. Largely because the steering is super responsive. I've driven the Mazda MX-5 Miata before, and this gives me a little bit of the vibe where it's very tight in the steering. Definitely not like traditional SUVs that are kind of mushy in their steering. So I really appreciated that. I could take corners really nicely, and it didn't really have a lot of body sway. And overall, the driving conditions of this Mazda, top of the line. I was really impressed with it. There's very little wind noise. I was driving 85 down the interstate and you could barely hear the wind. There's of course a little bit of wind noise coming in, but as a whole, very little wind noise across the car. And when you go over a bump in this thing, you feel like you're in a tank. You are not hearing rumbles and things kind of creaking in the car. When you go over a bump, you just bump and you keep going. I was really impressed with this car in regards to the overall build quality. Nothing in it's cheap. Everything's pretty sturdy. And there's leather along the side. The cushion on the door is incredibly soft. My one gripe though is this center console because it is super soft, but the problem is when you're driving, your arm, even if you're trying to rest your arm on it when you're holding the steering wheel, it doesn't reach. So in order to do it, you'd have to be here and you can't touch the steering wheel anymore. So I really wish they would have moved this forward more so you could actually rest your elbow on there when you're driving. So what's it like to get behind the wheel of this Mazda CX-5? Well, for me, over the last 1,400 miles, it's been a great driver, generally speaking. As I mentioned, the wind noise is fantastic. The seats in this car, I've heard different people say the seats were a little bit firm. I loved them. They fit me incredibly well. Some of my drives are over 3+ hours. My glutes never got tight. My hamstrings weren't going numb. So I recommend the seats. They are fantastic. My biggest complaint is going to be the screen. The screen is only touch when you are parked. You cannot be moving at all. Otherwise, the screen is only going to be controlled by the little dial, which is incredibly distracting. You don't know where it's at. I thought I'd get used to it after a couple of days, but it is terrible. That's one of the things Mazda needs to fix in the next generation, is making their screen touch capacitive the entire time. There is a sport mode on this car. It's not good. It revs the engine way too low. It keeps you in a low gear, and it felt like I was going to blow the engine up. So keep it in normal mode for your normal driving. That's going to be your best setting across the board. You're going to see too the gauge cluster on this. Only one of the dials is going to be digital. The other two are just going to be a standard analog. And the little screen in the far right, it really doesn't do anything for you. It shows little warnings here and there. It'll show you your MPGs and some different trips, but it's super unintuitive. You can't do much besides just scroll through the different menus on it. So I definitely need that updated. If you're very much so a techie person and want a car that is more up to speed with the future and the technology, this is not the car for you. But if you want a car that is sturdy, that is going to go over bumps with ease, that sort of feels like, again, you're kind of in a tank a little bit, super low wind noise, this is going to be the car for you. It does have those little bits of luxury in them, whereas all 4 windows from the driver's side are automatic. A lot of cars don't have that anymore. It has memory seat to the driver's side in this almost a couple above the base model. So you're getting some of those luxuries Mazda's trying to give you, but it still falls short on some of those things, such as the screen and just the overall kind of feel of the car, like the steering wheel and the buttons are kind of outdated. But again, guys, fantastic car. I have enjoyed driving this car for the last 4 days. But there are things that I know Mazda is going to get on this 2026 model that I really hope they cover some of these very problem areas that this 2025 version continues to carry. As we conclude this review, this is a top-notch car from Mazda. I still recommend this vehicle, even though it is very aged and the new 2026 model will have a lot more technology. This is a solid built car. You're gonna get your money's worth for it. And starting point, only $27,000. My recommendation would be going for that carbon version, which has the blacked out wheels, a few more technology inside, and that one's still in the low 30s. So you're gonna get a great bang for your buck with this car. This is compared to a Honda CR-V, a Toyota RAV4. I've driven those cars before. I think this car has a way more solid feel to it. It may lack in a few of those things, but definitely great buy on this Mazda CX-5. Thanks for tuning in.